Ninja Commando!
Ninja Commando is next, being played through the PS5 download of the PS2 ADK Damashi collection. This collection was only released in Japan, and so the only version available is in Japanese only. The Ninja Commandos that the game is titled for are the three playable characters who are sent throughout time to stop the Mars Corporation and its leader, Spider, from screwing the past to take control of the world's future. On choosing a character, the party discover the corporation's stronghold and have to fight their way in to gain access to their time machine. For my first level playthrough, I'll show footage as the first character in the selection, American Ninja Joe Tiger. The game is a vertical scrolling shooter. My options are to shoot, which I'm starting with a large spread. I can throw large fireballs, do an evasive flip and a big special attack. Joe fights by throwing several shuriken at once. To start with, I'm fighting security who all use shotguns. Vans will speed by to drop more of them off, but I'm just chewing through them. I break down the door and run into Spider, who moonwalks away while I blow up the tube surrounding him. I get a wave of soldiers throwing bombs at me, and then blow down another door to watch Spider get inside this mech. It moves side to side, shooting hoops out of the cannons on its sides, and opens up at the front to fire a big laser. I use Joe's special move, throwing down a big fire snake to wreck a cannon. I finish the other one, and Spider flees through time. It seems the stages happen in a random order, which is going to make writing this only slightly more complicated. The Commandos advance and take a time machine for themselves. The time circuit is broken and they can't control where they're going. I get a close-up of Spider's face and... The Commandos settle on the first time they can, which in Raya Dragon's playthrough is the Primitive Age. They can see humans, which shouldn't be possible this early, so they figure they must be Spider's men. Spider's men really got into their roles, dressing down and throwing axes around. There's also man-eating plants here. Raya wields a bow and fires several flaming arrows at once. As I move further, I get men with spears and dinosaur eggs to break. One slight complaint I have with the game is the inability to aim anywhere other than straight on. It doesn't end up being a huge problem, but not being able to just shoot an enemy right next to me is irritating. The lighting on this stage is very obnoxious, by the way. The constantly flashing between dark and not dark gives me a headache just watching it back to write this. One of the men here mutates into a giant and takes nearby Worm Thing to use as a whip. His whip doesn't last long, so he resorts to picking up his allies and throwing them at me. Raya's special attack is a big blue explosion that causes smaller explosions all over the screen. Once I shoot him enough to take him down, my eyes are free. The Commandos discover that their time machine was sabotaged by Spider ahead of time. The level continues into the beach, where I'm taking on little pterodactyls, then men with boomerangs, and I guess these guys are surrendering, but no mercy to Spider's men. Since that didn't work, they try running me over with Triceratops. Past them, some more men bow down before the boss, a big green dinosaur breathing fire. He'll also charge into me. His head and limbs take separate damage. A special move damages the face and front legs enough to reveal it to be a robot. What I like about this game is that not all bosses are huge sponges. They last long enough to avoid you getting bored of them before they explode. Ryu Eagle's second level wound up being something completely different, which is feudal Japan. Seeing Oda Nobunaga's castle and being a descendant of the Fuma clan, Ryu decides that they must detour and kill him. As I take on these ninjas, Ryu throws two big fireballs at once. I have archers and riflemen to shoot as well. Further in, Spider appears and runs away again. I soon enter the castle and my itchy shoot button finger takes out some of Nobunaga's maids. I let one live at least, accidentally. In comes two giant sumo wrestlers. One of them mains Kai in MK4 and handstand spins around the arena, while the other one slaps out streams of fire. One thing I can aim are these huge shuriken with these shoot and dodge buttons together, so I hang in a corner and whittle them down until they're gone. They speculate over whether that was a real person or a Mars Corporation robot. Part 2 starts and I continue through the castle, blasting down doors and avoiding long spears coming from the walls, also wiping out waves of maids on the way. A wave of spearmen show up and all get killed before they can try anything, and then the archers I don't kill don't fight, they just keep walking. Past them is Nobunaga himself. He's quite impolite and just ignores all my shots, spinning around while I have to kill more of his ninjas. Eventually he transforms into a giant samurai throwing huge fireballs at me. His katana swings even cut through the air. Those are his only two attacks, so I dodge to the side, shoot back and repeat until he's down. The Commandos question if they really killed the real historical Nobunaga, while Spider has a whine at them from his computer screen. But back to Joe for his second level in the Egyptian era. Everyone's just a bit creeped out by the area. So are the lions I'm wiping out here part of the Mars Corporation too? They're followed by guys rolling these spiky wheels down towards me. I have a pair of archers to deal with as Spider appears and flies again. I blow open the way inside and vandalise everything until a trio of mummies appear. They'll shamble around and make the odd sprint at me, but are otherwise easy to deal with. Part 2 is a long wave of archers, with a group of lions jumping in from the side a little later. Fighting more of the same, Spider appears and flees again. Past him is a sorcerer who splits himself into several copies that circle the original while he throws out lightning bolts. The copies are easy to deal with, so then it just becomes shooting at the main one until he dies. That's when the boss reveals itself, a giant pharaoh boss with huge snakehead arms that spit several smaller snakes at once at me. It can also spit a fireball that splits into many that move in all directions. At low health it starts with laser eyes too, but it doesn't have that much else anyway and goes down soon after. After that, everyone's third level is a stage I've already covered. Joe and Ryu get the primitive era while Raya gets Egyptian. Then for stage 4, Joe and Raya get feudal Japan while Ryu gets Egyptian. Everyone gets the same stage 5, Three Kingdoms era China. I start with archers followed by men throwing dynamite. As I enter the river, I blow up archers on boats and get a line of men on rocks throwing ballers at me. There's a larger ship, but that doesn't get to do anything either before I sink it. Nor do the guy stood on the pier when I return to land. Spearmen on horses charge by at this point. At the end, 3 huge guys with scimitars show up. They can hit the ground hard enough to create a shockwave, but it can only go in a straight line, so it never hits me. Just walking up to me and cutting me is far more effective. That's the only hit they ever get on me before I take them all out. Part 2 throws the horses at me again. I enter a fortress and deal with more horsemen and dynamite soldiers. That's when a huge guy wielding a spear shows up to be the boss. He's never identified, but I'm gonna assume Lu Bu. He swings his spear around until he loses half health. That makes his head fly off while his body deflates. The head turns into a dragon and flies around spitting fire at me. Just avoid the flames when possible and keep shooting whenever the head passes in front of you. Health drains slower than the first phase did, but it's not too tough. I get another message from Spider who says that the final battle will be in Europe, so stage 6 is set during World War II. I start with shooting down soldiers on bikes and then getting some with shotguns and bombs. I even face a tank, but it's no match for me punching fireballs. I wipe out their tank collection and end up chasing Spider away again. Next is trains loaded with cannons, which take more hits than the tanks at a feat. The Vans and Mars Corporation security from stage 1 make their return here. I fight my way past a few walls and have several tanks at once facing me, along with soldiers using flamethrowers. I wipe out a whole base of those to confront Spider again. He gets inside this huge tank with flamethrowers on the front, while I start off using up my special attacks to take away about 75% of his health. After that, the guns are destroyed one by one, and the tank is done. Spider gets blown up, saying that they haven't won yet. The Mars Corporation's main computer is still active, which can also revive Spider, somehow. So the commandos return to the corporation's building to wipe them out completely. We start close to the main computer room, which is mostly drones flying around shooting lasers and the remaining human security. Fight through them and break through this door for a boss rush. First a load of lions and the giant Egyptian bust, then the possible Lu Bu with a dragon in his head, the fire-breathing dinosaur, then one last wave of soldiers before I reach the final boss, a floating tank covered in 4 guns. This is just the head though, as I discover when a giant fist comes in from off screen and decks me in the side of the head. After I destroy the guns, the head splits open to fire 2 huge lasers and leave the core unprotected. This final boss is quite easy and goes down in no time. The Mars Corporation building explodes and suddenly this game does have English text, basically saying that I won. Also telling you the player to build the future yourself, you lazy bastard. And that's it. I enjoyed Ninja Commando, more than the previous 2 arcade games I played this episode. All 3 characters were enjoyable and I liked how the 2nd to 4th levels were random to avoid repetition on repeat playthroughs. But I will say that it didn't leave as much an impression as other shooters, as I'm already out of things to praise. Looking at my ranking as it is now, I like it more than Psycho Soldier, and it doesn't have an awful final boss drag in its placement down like Narc did. But I like that block of shooters ranked in the 120s, starting with Prehistoric Isle 2 and ending with Thundercross more. I think the thoughts I had towards Knuckle Bash apply here. I enjoyed my time with it, but don't see myself in a rush to revisit it.